being in this cocoon in some ways where everything is being manipulated, or you're just one cog in that larger system. These are going to have an impact on your overall capabilities as a worker, as to be able to have a meaningful life. Now, if you wanted to, inspired by collective action and mobilization of workers, etc. If you say we want to unionize, right? You will see, at least in the United States, huge efforts put in by the leading companies, which are led by decacorns or ten-horned decacorns or whatever they are now. And the basic point is these extraordinarily wealthy founders go out of the way to prevent unionization and collective action. And so that creates a huge imbalance as well. And it also creates a precarious existence, because the moment they realize that you are the ringleader in some ways, in a modern version of union busting, you will see you may be just thrown out. The algorithm might find some excuse to throw you out of your job, right? In which case you're out of the workforce altogether. So these sorts of complications also arise. How do you mobilize? How do you have some kind of a balance of power between the workers and the industrialists themselves? And here, what happens is, because you're all operating as individuals, your only connection to a fellow driver is the fact that you might see an Uber sticker on their car. Not, you don't know who that person is, you don't have a common workplace. There are all kinds of real world challenges in terms of even coming together. And there are, as we move towards artificial intelligence, there's even more of a challenge. So, for example, if you were to, and so this is now we're moving out of gig economy to actual workplaces. There, if you the human resource function involves recruitment, for example, and if they start determining which resumes to select based on some AI, right? I mean, nowadays it's very fashionable to say the AI will do it, right? What has that AI model been trained on? It's been trained on some data. Is that data relevant to this particular context? Is it biased in some way such that it will leave out women, it will leave out people of color, it will leave out, this and that. So people with disabilities, so all sorts of other challenges emerge in these contexts as well. So when we have a title like digital dystopia, at one level, you've seen a dramatic change in the way you can live life, but at the same time, you're also seeing the emergence of all these dystopic dimensions that I thought I'd bring to your attention. Let me see if I've missed out on anything here or there. And the other major challenge, of course, is income volatility, right? In the gig economy, you don't have stability in terms of knowing what your monthly income might be. And, so those are all challenges going forward. So what have we done about this, right? Well, I'm happy to say that the Congress government in Karnataka has come up with a gig economy focused bill, which essentially creates a social security fund for gig workers. The broad aim is to ask these platforms to put 2% of their revenues, of their profits, of their turnover. This is something that's being explored right now. What is the right metric to actually put in to a fund which will be tied to the person who has delivered the service. So, for example, if there is, or shall we say, if there is, if you're the Uber driver who also switches to Rapido, who also switches to Ola, based on your level of work for each of these platforms, some portion of your, the related profit will be parked in a social security fund for you for the longer term future. But because this relationship is not seen as a formal employer-employee relationship, many of the traditional protections that we had put in, health insurance, leave, all of these don't quite exist, right?